I want to do just a few foreign policy notes. We've only got a few minutes left, and I'll go through them. First, on Libya, you've said, look, we got to get Gaddafi out of there. I'd go in there and I'd get him out. Would you send ground troops to Libya at this point?
Not necessarily. You look at what President Reagan did, for example, to remove the governments in certain areas. You don't necessarily have to send in ground troops. When the rebels had Gaddafi on the ropes in the early days, in the early hours of this, had taken over most of the country geographically, he was openly talking about leaving. If the president in that moment would have been decisive and strong and threatened or imposed the no-fly zone, my view is we could have toppled Gaddafi then.
That sounds like a different reading of what the situation was at the time.
No,
Tripoli always seemed difficult to get, and now by the rebels' estimation, Tripoli would be hard to take.
Well,
and
David,
by the way, how do you do it without ground troops?
He dithered for 3 or 4 months.
Okay, but I'm asking you now, what would you do? You say we should go in and get Gaddafi. Easy thing to say as a candidate. What would you do? You say no ground troops?
Not necessarily.
Well, what's the not necessarily
I would tell Gaddafi this. You can go the easy way or you can go the hard way, but now you're gone. He just got indicted by an international tribunal for war crimes, or the equivalent of war crimes. This is a man who has American blood on his hand. He killed Americans. He's a terrorist. This is somebody who Ronald Reagan tried to kill in the 1980s.
How? I'm asking you to back up how.
The United States of America has the ability to find and hunt down and bring to justice
So special forces. You're saying send in special forces if necessary.
If you wanted to, you could kill him with a cruise missile, if you wanted to. If you wanted to, you could bring in special forces and target him. The idea that we can't find and kill Muammar Gaddafi or bring him to justice is ridiculous.
One on Afghanistan. Defense Secretary Panetta was in Afghanistan. He said this: I'm convinced that we're within reach of strategically defeating al-Qaeda. Do you agree?
Well, the person who said that is somebody who's got a lot of knowledge, so I'd give that deference. But you look at Afghanistan, for example.
That's a big accomplishment, is it not?
Yeah, sure it
Do you give credit to President Obama for how he's taken on al-Qaeda?
Well, he's made some good decisions in that regard. Finding and killing bin Laden was a good decision, good leadership action. But we still have a lot of work to do. This is going to be a multi-year, multi-decade commitment, and it's not over yet. Let
me ask you about social policy. You've notably said that you're a big fan of Lady Gaga, and even the song Born This Way. There's a lot of debate about a gay marriage pledge in Iowa. And related to that, I wonder, do you agree with some of those who are behind that being gay is a choice?
Well, I have 2 teenage daughters who listen to Lady Gaga, so I'm subjected to it, and it has some good qualities to it. But as to gay marriage, I've been a supporter of traditional marriage as between a man and a woman. I have not supported the issues of allowing gay couples to have the same benefits in public employment as traditional couples. And so this is an issue in Iowa and across the whole country. But I've stood in favor of traditional marriage and traditional relationships.
Is being gay a choice?
Well, the science in that regard is in dispute. I mean, the scientists work on that and try to figure out if it's behavioral or if it's partly genetic.
What do you think?
Well, I defer to the scientists in that regard.
So you think it's not a choice? That you are, as Lady Gaga says, you're born that way.
There's no scientific conclusion that it's genetic. We don't know that. So we don't know to what extent it's behavioral, and that's something that's been debated by scientists for a long time. But as I understand the science, there's no current conclusion that it's genetic.
All right, Governor Pawlenty, lots more debate to come. We'll be watching you on the campaign trail. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.